So there's this game that me and Chris like to play sometimes that is picking a totally random ingredient and imagine how it would be used in a completely unrelated cuisine. Like, for example, what would a grandma from northeast China will tackle a very tropical young jackfruit when she sees one at the local market on Hainan Island that's 3,000 kilometers away from her hometown? Or how would a French pastry chef use Sichuan peppercorn? It's a fun thing to think about, and last year when visiting the US, we decided to play this game in real life and seeing how a Chinese home cook would use new American ingredients that I've never seen before. It was pretty fun, so this year we want to do it again. But this time, let's go to a Mexican supermarket instead. So, this will be a very interesting challenge, and I'm very excited for it. So, now let's just go and see what we can do. Right, so here we are. This is a Mexican supermarket that's supposed to be the best around where Chris's parent lives, and I'm very excited. Let's go check it out. So maybe we can check out the produce first. Let's go. Cream, dairy. Oh, that looks like pork skin. Let me see.
Here.
Got it. Everything's tall and big here. So, okay. It's interesting. I don't know how they use this, but this is a great ingredient. We love using it for Liangban cold dishes, mixing or braising, but for this kind of like fresh ones, I think I prefer cold dish mixing. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna get this one. Oh, lard. Great cooking oil. Let's get one. Oh, I think Chris want to use sausage, chorizo for something. So let's get some. Let's see. Oh, fresh section. Cactus. So, I never had cactus before. I think it's maybe similar to aloe vera, which in China sometimes people use it in desserts. It's very meaty looking, and it kind of like gives me the look of Southeast Warson. So I want to give it a try and see how it tastes like and what's the texture, because the texture looks so good. Let's get some cilantro and tong. The bulb is super huge. Whatever that thing is. I'm still very intrigued by the fresh produce, but it's just way too much things to talk about. I want to buy everything here. But let's go over to spices. What's this? Cameroon molido. Oh, shrimp powder. Dry shrimp powder. Chili queen. Very cute. Haba molida. The flour of haba. Oh, fava bean flour. Okay, so it will be great to make some baba, some kind of pancake. Cans. Fun. Ooh, refried beans. I always like the refried beans. I think they may actually make a pretty good dousha, like bean paste, in fillings, because these are just like whole beans and it's pretty smooth. If it's for me, I'll season it with a lot of brown sugar. I think it will be better than like whatever random package red bean paste that you get from like supermarkets, because those are usually just like so syrupy and just not that much beans in it. Cocoa and corn drink. Seems like a good drink to have. Wall of spices. All right, the fascinating spices and herbs that I actually really I don't have much of an idea of how it's used. It's the kind of things that because it's dry, you can't really tell what they're similar of. Oh, okay, bay leaf. I know this one. Oh, and avocado leaves. Interesting. I didn't know that you can consume avocado leaf. Oh, is this the... Oh, I believe this is the corn husk mustache. Corn silk, yes. Corn silk. We call it 玉米须, so you know, mustache. It's interesting. I don't know how this is used in Mexican cooking, but in China, at least in Guangdong, people would just like use this dry ones and make tea with it, and it's supposed to be very good to kind of get rid of the heat inside your body. Canned stuff. Let's see. Giant white corn. This is a very interesting ingredient. I really like it. Actually, Chris brought some back last time and tastes pretty interesting, the texture, and it just works really well in the context of like a stew. But because it takes forever to soak, I'm not going to use this today. Let's move on and see what else. Hungry. I'm hungry. Let's quickly finish shopping and then we can just go eat something. Pork skin, we already got some. I rather have the fresh one actually. It's easier to control the flavor yourself. What is that? Pacaya. It looks like corn. Also looks like sour bamboo shoot. This is something that I have no idea what this is. It can either be corn or bamboo shoot or some other kind of plant product. I'm gonna take this as a challenge and just get it and see what we can do with it. Alright, now that we're back and let's start cooking. So this time I want to keep things in the general framework of Southwest Chinese cooking because it just makes so much sense. And now let's begin with some cactus. So I've never had or used cactus before, but it really reminds me of another succulent plant, aloe vera, which is often added in sweet drinks for its jello-like refreshing quality. So for cactus, I think I also want to keep its fresh quality by just making a Liangban cold mixed salad kind of thing. And speaking of Liangban cold salad, the pork skin we got will be perfect in this context as well, because it's also got a jello-y, meaty bite, and it's also a very classic ingredient in Chinese Liangban dishes. So I'm gonna cut the cactus into strips first because smaller pieces will carry the sauce better. And I'm gonna give it a blanch first because most ingredients in Chinese Liangban dishes are usually cooked or blanched beforehand. After a quick blanch and before the colors change too much, just quickly take it out and shock it with cold water so that it retains its snappy bite. And same with the pork skin. This pork skin looks already prepped, so I'm just gonna give it a quick blanch and also just shock it with cold water so that it also remains snappy. And then with some chopped herbs on the side, I can start assembling. So I'm just gonna toss the cactus and pork skin in first and top it with a handful of chopped cilantro and scallion, and then a sliced habanero for some heat. And I'm gonna add in the classic Chinese Liangban seasonings, that it's salt, sugar, MSG, soy sauce, white pepper, or black pepper in this case, and then some vinegar. And now I'm just gonna give it a quick mix first, and then I'm gonna add in some dry guajillos cut into sections and 2 cloves of minced garlic. And then I'm gonna splash some 180 degrees Celsius hot lard over the chili and garlic to make them smell awesome. And now just give it a final mix, and then the Liangban cactus, it's done. Alright, next let's see what we can do with the jar of pacaya. So after a quick googling once we got back, we found that pacaya, it's not corn, but the young inflorescence from the pacaya palm tree. And that is really interesting to me because it reminds me of certain areas in Yunnan, especially Tengchong or Baoshan, where people would eat the young flower from the Chinese windmill palm. And that flower is called zongbao. So given that, I think I'm just gonna use the pacaya basically in the same way as how people would use zongbao in Yunnan. That is stir frying it with some cured meat. So first, I'm gonna cut them into smaller strips along its length with a rolling cut. Then I'm gonna give it a quick blanch, just how people in Yunnan would treat zongbao, and then take it out to strain. As for stir frying, I think I'm basically just gonna stick with the most common combo of cured meat, dried chili, ginger, and garlic. And maybe just toss in a couple fermented black beans because we brought some with us this time. So first, I'm gonna fry up some smoked bacon, which will be my cured meat of choice in this dish this time. Then once we've rendered out some fat, I'm gonna add in the sliced garlic and ginger and fry till they smell good. Next, I'm gonna add in one guajillo chili cut into sections, plus 1 teaspoon huajiao Sichuan peppercorn and 1 tablespoon douchi fermented black beans. At this point, I like to pull them to the side of the pan to fry the chilies in oil because we don't have a wok to stir fry here. And once the oil is tinted red, it will be time for some liaojiu, aka Shaoxing wine. But beer is all we got here, so Pacifico it is. And once the wine alcohol component's in, I am gonna add in the blanched pacaya and start stir frying. Because a flat pan is a little bit difficult to stir fry things with, so I like to use a spatula together with a pair of chopsticks to help move things more evenly. And after a quick stir fry, splash in some soy sauce to the side so that it can quickly brown. And I'm gonna give it a taste to decide on the remaining seasoning. So it does need some more salt, probably about a quarter teaspoon. And because it still got some sourness from being pickled, I think I'm gonna go heavier on the sugar to balance that sourness. So about a teaspoon sugar. And then I'm gonna add in a small sprinkle of MSG to round things up and then finish it with some sprinkle of black pepper. And after the final stir frying and mixing, I find it seems a little bit dry. So I want to add in a slurry of a quarter cup water together with 1 teaspoon cornstarch to give it some sauce. And then just mix all that, take it out, and now my stir fry pacaya with cured meat, it's done. So right now let's hand off to Chris and see what he will do with the chorizo.
Now, I know that this isn't quite the same as the previous two because, I've eaten chorizo, but I did want to give this one a go because a couple weeks back, I had a little bit of an epiphany. Because, in our recipes, we often call for hand mincing stuff, and a couple videos back, I wanted to explain why, and I settled on this explanation.
Basically, a hand mince will be a bit snappier, kind of closer in texture to something like a sausage hash, and ground meat a little more hamburger helper.
But then the obvious question, could you just use sausage instead of hand mincing? So I wanted to try to make that Yunnan Hongsanduo from a couple weeks back, but this time use chorizo instead.
Okay, so I'm pretty optimistic that this is gonna work. I mean, tomato, chili, chorizo feels like halfway to a Mexican breakfast already. So I'll just break this up a bit to try to get it a little closer to a mince in texture. And because this chorizo's obviously already seasoned, I think I'll just skip the marinade. No, as we said, my parents don't own a wok, and I doubt that this all fit in that nonstick skillet, so pot it is. So, just a couple tablespoons of lard, tossing in the chorizo over a medium-high flame. And I'll break this up a bit so that it doesn't end up one big meatball. After a couple minutes, some of the fat's rendered out, so then I'll go in with about 5 cloves and 1 inch of smashed garlic and ginger. Once those are fragrant, now it's the chili component, which today was 100 grams of Serranos together with a half a habanero. Similarly, unfortunately, Shaoxing wineless, so I figure a little beer on a whim. And then the tomato component, which was about 300 grams, and after a quick mix, a tablespoon of soy sauce. Now, this dish is always a little on the saucy side for a stir fry, but I guess because I'm working in this pot over an electric, or maybe it could be these actually farm fresh tomatoes, this is starting to leach out a good bit more water than I'm used to. For this dish, though, it's not the end of the world. This will all be smothered over rice anyway, but we'll probably need to lean into that sauce dynamic. So I'll just let it reduce down a bit, and then after a couple minutes, finish by seasoning with salt, sugar, pepper, and MSG. Quick slurry because this is still a little liquidy. And while this isn't quite as Hongsanduo as I envisioned, I think this should still be pretty fire over rice.
So right now that we are done, let's give it a taste test. So stir-fried palm flour. Texture is quite good actually, but the palm flour itself, because it came from a pickle jar, so it does have some kind of sour taste in it. I think it will taste better if it's fresh. If with that like slight bitterness in it, I think it will work pretty well with dry chili and larou or like bacon, this kind of thing. But this is still pretty good, actually. I don't like to rate things. We'll rate it after we finish all three. Okay, Liangban. This one smells most Chinese, so I think this will probably taste the most Chinese. Let's see. This one's really good. This one's really good. It's a very refreshing Liangban cold dish, and the texture of the cactus is awesome. And plus, with the crunchy pork skin, they just work so well together. I think people like restaurants in China should just start doing this combo. It's great. Okay, and then with our super 下饭 Hongsanduo with chorizo. Let's give it a go. This one's really good too. Because we use chorizo, which it's already seasoned, so it got some kind of like signature chorizo-ness in it. And the rice itself tastes a little bit like Spanish food-esque. But this like whole combo is also really good like with rice, just as how good Hongsanduo is with rice. So now that we finished tasting the three, if I have to rank personally, I will say this is definitely a winner. It's awesome. You guys should give it a try. The second place will give it to Chorizo Hongsanduo because it's 下饭. Super awesome with rice. And unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately, but the third place I'll give it to the palm flour because the sourness coming from the brine is still a little bit strong in a supposed to be umami and savory stir fry, so it's not the super most balanced dish, but texturally it's still pretty good. So you can check out some notes for how to make these dishes down in the description box. And a big thank you for everyone that's supporting us on Patreon. And of course, subscribe for more Chinese cooking videos.